like this week for you emotionally, just to get it started and seeing the players around?
Man, it's exciting. We've been communicating with the players all summer. It's been fantastic to be around them. Everybody's itching and ready to go, so it's exciting.
Is there, when you, I know you have a very short run here before these preseason games start, have you kind of tried to put things into the team, or do you think changes you want to make, systematic things?
The great part about it is that communication with the players has been at a pretty high level throughout the course of the summer. And so for us, our messaging started, a month and a half or whatever ago. And then we've had optional workouts, and, our guys have been great attending the optional workouts, and we've been able to lay a little bit of the foundation during those times. And so we feel like we're not too far behind, at least to the point where we could have been if we wouldn't have been talking to them at all. What's up, man?
There's some guys here, Brunson, I guess, and Obi maybe, who have played the best basketball of their career, under previous coach and everything. When you come in, how do you sort of address what they were doing and how to keep that on top of what you're going to add yourself to make sure they're still who they've been the last couple of years?
You always try to look at your guys' strengths whenever you're implementing something, and you try to put them in the best possible position to have success. First, to help the team, but you also have to keep in mind what their individual goals / aspirations are, and especially based on what their talent level is. So trying to mesh that is definitely my job, and I think the way that we play on both ends of the floor will enhance what they do very well.
They had 5 guys that played a lot together last season, and obviously you coming in, you have different approach, different philosophies. Do you have in your mind, are you settled on a starting lineup, or is that something that's going to materialize throughout camp?
Yeah, no, it will materialize throughout camp. I think it's too early to go in and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. The roster, Leon and his group did a fantastic job putting together a talented, deep roster, and so you have to be methodical with your approach when it comes to declaring, okay, hey, these guys are going to start.
Do you have a team identity that you're solving for as you're looking for that starting lineup, or is that something that will emerge as you make those decisions?
Yeah, that will emerge as we make the decisions, but the one thing that we want to make sure we do offensively, we want to play fast with the floor spaced, and not just in the full court, but in the half court too, with a certain cadence though in the half court. And then defensively, we want to be physical. We want people to fill us, and we want to do so without fouling. And so those are two things at the forefront of what I'd like to get accomplished early on with this team.
Mike, when you say you want a team to play fast, how do you start that progress or that progression of taking a team that didn't necessarily have the identity of playing at a high pace to get in there? It's simple to say run faster, do this, that sort of like how do you implement that?
That's the first thing. Tell them run faster. But there are things within what we try to do and what we teach, and for us, the biggest thing is getting to the corners. You gotta have guys that are capable of getting to the corners quickly. If you have guys that can get to the corners, especially guys that can shoot the ball and or make plays like we do on this team, and it doesn't matter who gets to the corners. Our 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be interchangeable. Our 5 will pretty much do the same job every time, whether it's a rim run or a trail spot that he'll fill. But if you can get guys to the corner right now, then that's going to flatten the defense, and it's going to start the dominoes to fall with the ability to drive and touch the paint, and kick, and all those other things. And so emphasizing that while putting a sense of urgency or a sense of importance on getting to the corners is going to be huge. And if our guys embrace that, which I feel they will, that'll start the whole process the right way.
You obviously have a deep team. Even last season, is a 9-man 10 with you to settle on how many players you want in your rotation?
You know, if you look at what I've done in the past, it's usually 9.5 to 10 guys. You know, I try to play as many guys as I can, and you know, even when I was in SAC and we had an injury during the course of the season. There was a point in time where, towards the end of the season, there was a point in time where I started a two-way guy in Keon Ellis, and so I'm going to try to play who can help us win, and I'm going to try to give guys an opportunity. So hopefully, with as deep as our roster is, everybody will get an opportunity at some point throughout the course of the season.
Mike, obviously last year there was a ton of success with this group, and the expectation coming into the season are obviously really high. How do you, I know you talked about this some back in July when you got hired, but how do you kind of address that and sort of embrace that as you go into a season where there are pretty high expectations for what you guys are expected to do?
The first thing is, I don't know if anybody has any higher expectations than me. I love being in a position where, you know, you feel expectations, and you know, to me, that means there's something of importance that you're doing and that you enjoy and others enjoy. Our guys, I don't feel they're any different with the little bit of time I've been around them. We know what our job is at hand. It starts tomorrow, and it's one step at a time. It's every day, every practice, every shoot around that's in front of us. We have to attack it with abandon, and if we do, and we embrace what our roles are, we embrace the culture that we're trying to build here, then good things are going to happen. Knowing that we have a target on our backs, and when you do have that on your backs, you got to bring your best every time you step out on the floor, not just during game time.
Mike, is that one of the things that appeal to you about this job? I mean, it is the ultimate challenge. You're at a point in your career, like, not that you weren't ready for challenges before, but this is the ultimate challenge. Did you find that appealing about this job?
100%. I mean, you know, you talk about the knowledge within this city and the passion within this city. You talk about MSG. You know, I mean, that's a venue that everybody wants to be in every night of the year if possible. So there are a lot of great things about this opportunity, and you know, when I say the city too, it's Westchester County, because I live out there, and I don't want people out in Westchester County getting upset with me because I didn't give you guys a shout out. So it's not just about the city, but oh, you do? Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But no, all those things are definitely appealing to taking this job. And then, you know, you go back and you look at the job that Leon and his group did. You know, my conversations with Mr. Dolan, all those things make this thing an extremely appealing job.
Can you talk about two things about this job that feel great? Are there one or two things about this team that you say that you
Say it one more time,
Are
sorry.
there one or two things about this team that you kind of learned in the last couple of months as you kind of started to deep dive what you got and you didn't know before?
That's a great question. Yes, because, you know, from the outside looking in, you think that you have a pretty good feel. One of the things I learned is these guys are self-starters, and they're pretty hard workers. And so to be around a veteran team, I've been in some situations like this, to see a group that's a self-starter, a self-starting group, is very exciting to be around. And then even though they're a veteran group, they seem hungry to learn. And I don't care how old you are, how young you are, you always have to try to evolve and grow in life. And these guys seem to have that itch to want to do those two things.
Couple more guys.
Can you talk about your staff and the way it was constructed, and the mix of veteran and the guys who actually worked with you in the past?
Yeah, you know, again, being around this group as a whole for a short amount of time, I've been very pleased. I think they're extremely diverse. They bring different things to the table. They're really talented. They seem unafraid. They seem like they have a lot of great ideas, and they work together. You know, so everything that we're asking the players to do, from, you know, sacrificing to being connected, to having a competitive spirit, to having a belief in the process and each other. While all of us hold each other accountable, all those things resonate within the guys that I brought together, and I love that about them.
So you're known as a detail-oriented coach, right?
Yeah.
And so, when you're looking at your star players like Jalen and Mikal and Kat, what are you noticing in terms of the dynamic of their leadership style and what you want to try to instill in them under your regime?
Everybody leads different, and I haven't necessarily been around them long enough to see how they truly lead, but you can feel their leadership in their presence. You can feel their leadership in their actions, and so I'm really looking forward to being around them, especially during adverse times, because we're going to hit adversity, and that's when the pressure is on for everybody, but especially for guys that are in a leadership role to step up and help the group get through it. So again, both of those two guys that you mentioned have been tremendous in that area, but there's a lot of time to figure out the different nuances that they have when it comes to leading the group.
We're going to do 2 more. Fred?
They've used Jalen off the ball a number of different ways over the years, as a screener at times, running on pin downs, flare screens, that kind of stuff. What have you seen from Jalen's off-ball work that you like? What particular types of actions do you think he's really good at? And what kind of stuff do you kind of want to go?
He seems like he's a versatile player, and the biggest thing that I want to do for him is try to get him, as well as everybody else, easy shots. And one of the easiest shots in the game of basketball is a spray 3. I'm a big proponent of touching the paint and spraying that basketball for a catch and shoot 3. And so within what we do, we're going to try to get him a lot of those situations. On top of that, if you do touch the paint, whether it's on the dribble drive or on a cut, if it's on the dribble drive, when you touch the paint and you get off of it, we want you to keep moving. And again, the little bit that we've seen so far in Jalen during these optional workouts, he seems like he's embraced it. Because you have to be in great condition in order to play this way, but he seems like he's embraced it, and I'm looking forward to seeing if we can continue to try to find ways, especially when we start playing games, that we try to find ways to get him some easy catch and shoot looks, because the ball will be in his hands, especially down the stretch, and so to make the game easier throughout the course of the game is going to be a big thing.
All right, nice one. Since we last talked to you, Mikal signed his extension. How important is that for this organization to get that done, and what have been the early conversations with Mikal?
I tell you what, Mikal's been one of the guys that's been in here almost every day, and sometimes he comes in twice a day. Again, to have a guy like Mikal on your roster is unbelievable. Not just because he's a great basketball player and he's versatile, brings a lot of versatility on both ends of the floor, but fantastic human being. So you could tell his mama raised him right, and I'm just looking forward to seeing him get out on the floor and do what he does best offensively and do what he does best defensively. But Leon, again, and his group, to be able to lock him up for the number of years that they did just gives you a comfort level as a head coach, knowing that he's going to be around for a while.